interesting. Yeah, when I watch the ones on Krishnamurti, they have a lot of different ones with Alan Watts. Sleep is a portal, and what is sleep? Um, Sleep is recovery for the body. You know, um, even if you're doing healthy things or not healthy things, it's still recovery from the body. You still need it. Um, uh, it's very important. Sleep is basically it's just recharging the batteries. I wouldn't want to call it. Yeah, it's helping the body. All critters do it. Bears hibernate and and stuff. And well, not all critters don't. Well, fish, sharks, or whatever and stuff. But it's sleep is very important. Yeah. As far as a portal, I wouldn't really necessarily say that, but I'm not gonna take time to listen to it. No. Um. Uh, you don't have to watch and listen to everything, even if the person has a lot of really intelligent and good things to say. Okay. Um. What you mostly have to pay attention to is uh is things that support the validity of truth. And truth. Life is eternal and grace is infinite, right? And so, like Krishnamurti talked about his, uh, truth is a pathless journey. Okay, because seriously, because you can't and I've always been that way too. And I had that with Jennifer Lopez. Because these people, you're supposed to melt its head and they had that neck and car. I was like, no, I can't do that. It drives me nuts. Okay. And even when I was young, before Wi-Fi, when I talked to Little Hawk, I was walking from Tara's house to my house, and I'd have these conversations with Little Hawk, as I would be by myself, the wind would be cold and it would be blowing, and we were in similar conditions. And then he was telling me about, his was a lot more, whoa, yeah. His was like Bill Cosby. He used to walk to school. It was 8 miles in the snow, uphill both ways. His it was kind of. Oh, he walked all the way from like Fort Laramie to um, uh, Goose Creek. Where I used to work at NSI. Okay, he had to get up and walk all that. And he started walking, and then he ended up showing up in camp with 2 horses and. Packed, with elk and it was so cool. He was like 13 years old. And I'm like, this is so cool. What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. And the girl, the Cheyenne girl, they liked knew. They wouldn't allow to take him because he was a half breed, and a lot of the elders in the tribes and the bigots and they go because the Cheyenne are good people, but they have their Turdberg bags too, right? And they had left him behind, and he would show up. He'd follow her. And she was like 4 years older than him. And so she would get married, and stuff, but he would be there because the men that, they arranged the marriages to and politicized, it was hard. Like what happened with, and don't say that's not true, because it happened with their cousins with No Water and Black Buffalo Woman. And so when he told me these stories, I was like, oh, this is horrible. But Jesus, I hadn't been through that yet. I didn't have problems like that with Tara Cornett. Her dad was a pimp and a drug dealer. Her uncle was one of the best men I knew and met in my life. Okay. Alvin, and it was really embarrassing for her because her dad was the pimp and the drug dealer. Uncle Alvin was this beautiful man, and why can't my Uncle Alvin be my dad? And I'm crying just thinking about it. That was hard on Tara. She completely adored her Uncle Alvin. She was embarrassed by her dad, Jesse. And I didn't get it that day. I was like, is something going wrong? She was, no, it's, my Uncle Alvin is protecting everybody from this big wrestling psychotic bigot. Okay. And my dad is laying across his Cadillac saying, nigga, you always scratch up my car every time you kick one of these motherfuckers' asses. And I didn't understand. I said, no, what Alvin's doing is okay. But Jesse is Tara's dad. That's why she was upset and wanted to go, okay. I'm a guy. I didn't, because Rodney was, this is happening. What do you want me to do about it, man? That guy's a three-time championship wrestler from the University of Iowa. He's 6 foot tall, 245 pounds, and all fucking muscle. Alvin's kicking the shit out of him. Alvin was 6 feet tall, about 195 pounds. Okay, he taught Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu and stuff to women at the Casper YMCA and self-defense classes to stop them from getting sexually assaulted. And that man got mad because we were beating the shit out of them. And he took his elbow and tried to shove it into Junior, his brother's trachea. Right? I saw it. I was sitting there like, God damn. That thing could kill somebody. Right? And Alvin got mad. And Alvin got between them. And the guy went after Alvin, tried to Greco-Roman out. And Alvin just wham! And he kicked him right in the thigh. And the man's thigh got red and then it bruised. Like real quick. I mean, it was some kind of a contusion that it hurt him. And the guy kept, nigger us, and then Alvin said, hey, I work here, but take it out back in the parking lot when we're done. The boss says that, I won't get fired. Stuff. And they did. And then Alvin commenced to beating the living shit out of that man. The man tried to Greco-Roman wrestle him. And every time he tried, Alvin would just step back and it was the same foot every time. It was the right foot. The man couldn't stop it. He beat the shit out of him. And Rodney's there. I was like, I wasn't upset at all. I was 15 years going on 16. I was like, the man deserves that ass kick and he needs it. But, you don't try to kill somebody over getting embarrassed in a goddamn basketball game. Okay. We weren't doing anything wrong. We were just playing basketball the way we played basketball. And that's what Danny said, and we all did. We all played that way. It was 40 minutes from tip to buzzer. We ran. Okay. We didn't stop till the game was over. Okay. We passed, we shoot, we pressed, we scored. Okay. From tip to buzzer, busting loose. Okay, that was our motto. That's what we did. Okay, you came out to play us, you knew. Okay, when that ball goes up, we ain't stopping pressing, running, and scoring until the buzzer sounds. Okay, that's just the way we play ball. Yeah, and we did. Okay, so that's all we did. That's all we did. We pressed, we ran, and we shot. We got shots up. My job was to, play good defense and then be the outlet. And that's what I did all game. Play good defense and then get in the outlet. And then they would get the pass. And so that's what I did. And then my thing was then turn and look up, okay, to see who was out on the break and who was ready for their shot. And then I got them the ball. That's what I did. No, Danny knew I was a good ball player, and he told me about that. He says, "You sure you want to play in the NBA? You sure you want to play for coaches? They ain't gonna let you do what you do. They ain't gonna tell you what to do." And I was like, "No, man, I can throw passes." So they're going, "Well, I'm learning here, And he told me to try to score more. I was like, "I ain't trying to score there. They'll try to hurt me, and I ain't trying to embarrass these grown men." But as far as my passing went, shit. I could drop dimes. Every pass was perfect. Just like it was at Dean Morgan, with Ray or Charlie. Charlie said that too. Yeah, he gets it right where you need it, and when he shoots, it's soft and it comes right off. And if you can't get it, if he throws it too hard because he got pushed or, something like that, he's going to follow it and he's going to put it back in. I didn't do that in City League, no. No, 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 no. Those grown men will try to hurt you. You're 15 years old. They don't want to get embarrassed. And it was bad enough that I was dropping like 20 assists a game or more, you know. And the passes were always perfect. Just, Danny come down the baseline and be right above the top of the rim, flush. That was fun. Yeah, it was really fun. It was fun, being 15 going on 16 and being able to play with men that had talents better than a lot of professional players. And you could just, a junior, when he'd come around the pick and get up to his spot, I would just swish, Henderson down the baseline. And I would just dunk. And yeah, we only played with Steve like 4 times. He only showed up like 4 times, but it didn't take us long at all. He just, after a while, it was like, he would always do it with his eyes, because I'd throw it up and it'd be perfect. And it was like, no, he goes, nah. What? You may throw it back there. Yeah. It's okay. I'll throw it back there. Wham! I was like, oh, okay. Shit. You want me to throw it? Yeah, like Martin Barreras with me. Seems like the worse you throw it, the more fun he has catching it. Right? He'll go over the fence with one hand and catch it. He's like a perfect, amazing frisbee dog. Well, that's the way Hort was. And at first I thought, nah, and then they kind of explained to me, no, he tried at Denver, but they pushed him around too much. He was 6'9", had a 7 foot something plus wingspan. Okay, but he was like $190, $185. He was real skinny. Okay, and they said no. When he went to Denver, because Junior got tryouts in Denver and Utah too with Steve. He said no. They beat his ass up. Okay, he could not get a dunk. He could not get a rebound. He could not do anything. He could not tie his shoes without getting his ass kicked. Okay, I was like, really? Yeah. He's so good. Yeah, he's really good. He's 6'9". He's lean. He can run the floor. He can jump real well because he's lean and he had long arms and he could dunk all over everybody. But he just couldn't do it in the NBA. No, they beat the shit out of him. He could not get to his spot. He was not allowed to get to his spot. He would. You're talking about guys the size of like George McGinnis, but I was like, Alex English, skinny. Nope. Dan Issel, Bobby Jones, Kiki Vandewave, and nope. Beat his ass. Really? I was like, yep. They beat the shit out of that boy. He probably would have helped himself out if he'd been like Kiki Vandewave and developed an outside jump shot. Yeah. I think that's hard for a lot of guys with big hands and longer. Steve's hands were huge, and I think sometimes it's hard for them to shoot outside jump shots as well as guys that don't have as big hands. The ball, it's like you ever shot a volleyball? It's harder to shoot than with a basketball, and sometimes it's a little bit harder. You have to really work at it. You have to put a lot of effort into it, like Wilt did. No, what Wilt was a good shooter. Okay, with the free throws, because he would dunk them. Because he would step across the line, he'd dunk it, and he'd get the dunk before his foot hit the ground. People were like, no, serious, yeah. You can't land over the line, but he'd get the ball in the basket before his foot would hit the ground, so it was legal. Yeah, no, God dang, no. Wilt Chamberlain, most of y'all don't know nothing. You don't know your basketball, right? Yeah. They expanded the key by 6 feet. Goaltending. You can't, the free throw. What else did they do? Goaltending, the 3 and the key. I think that's about it. But that's enough. That they expanded the key by 6 feet. You can't do goaltending. You can't, you have to. And the free throw thing, those are the 3, because he was dominant. He would not miss free throws. And the key, when it was only, when he scored his 100 points, the key was only, I think, Or I don't know if that was the case. They might have already changed it by the time he was in college, but yeah. Okay. Wilton Norman Chamberlain. Yeah. Expanded the key by 6 feet, invented the goaltending rule. And then because he was so dominant, and then when Lou Alcindor came in, they outlawed the dunk for all through Kareem's college career. He was not allowed to dunk the ball, which was actually to his benefit. Yeah, yes. He became the deadliest mid-range big man shooter in the history of the game, and then was the leading scorer of all time until LeBron, right? Yeah. But he played 4 years in college, right? But yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, no. His hook shot was horrible. Well, it was an offensive foul. Yeah. Well, no, it was his. Another guy that had that too with his rebounds was Bill Russell. He'd kick his leg up and throw his up. Oh, I used to do it when I drove. Oh yeah, I'd drive and I was like a flying ninja. They will hurt you. Okay, so you had to go and make it your style. And before I'd pass, I'd do my arm back and forth like this. So you'll catch an elbow if you come in and try to hurt me, and then I'd throw it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love you guys.